Hello. Oh, well, who needs the traitors when you've got Prime Minister's questions? It was fabulous. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Now, I don't know if you can do this. So obviously lots of people watching this have lots of different political allegiances. Whatever your political allegiance is, are you able to put it aside just for a minute and watch Kemi Badenoch's performance? Because it was amazing. I mean, whether you're Green, Conservative, Reform, Labour, Lib Dem, it doesn't matter. What she did today was finally 100% in the interests of the voting public. And that was hold the Prime Minister to account. And she did so directly, repeatedly, eloquently, without descending to his behaviour, and made some very clear, concise points. She didn't deviate, she didn't go off track, she literally just said it as it is. She said what you and maybe she watches these. Kemi, do you watch these? In which case I'm proper grateful to you today. She nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Have I asked you to like, subscribe and share? I can't remember. Please do if you haven't. It was phenomenal, and it was so refreshing finally to have the Prime Minister held to account and not be able to move. Now, interestingly, when you watch it back, he can't look her in the eye. He sort of pretends to make lots of notes on his bit of paper and sort of shuffle it. He cannot look her in the eye. He's totally intimidated by her. He is unable to hit this head on. And that says an awful lot. Lammy and Reeves were stony faced. Reeves looks like she'd seen a ghost. Lammy almost looked like he'd got the memo, which was just don't speak, just don't do anything. You've embarrassed us, just don't speak or do anything. And so he didn't, apart from a bit of I mean, at one point, the Speaker of the House had to tell everybody if they wanted a pantomime to go to the Old Vic, which I thought was late. And it wasn't better late or never. He's clearly been reading the headlines and gone, oh, okay, well, I better say something to reflect. On your watch, mate, the House has been an absolute disaster. You have let them get away with murder. They've been like unruly school kids. In fact, they've been worse than that. And now you decide, because you've read a headline, that it looks like pantomime. I mean, I've said it. Do you watch it as well? Would be lovely, Sir Lindsay, if you did. Take note. Act sooner. Didn't work quite so well for the BBC chairman, did it? Didn't work well for Tim Davie when he didn't act soon and got a barrage of hate and ended up having to resign. So right now, act soon. So Kemi was phenomenal. And Keir didn't respond. There was a lot of jeering. But the bit that was just extraordinary, where you go, did he just say that? Did he? No, he can't have done. So I had to replay it. I had to watch it a couple of times. And he said, this is a united team. We are delivering together. And then he went on to say, look at what, da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh my God. What? I mean, where's Ant and Dec just going to pop out? They've been saying it down his ear and they're going to pop out and everyone goes, that's why. So not united, are they? So not, well, they are delivering, but an absolute truck. I mean, honestly, they're delivering our muck pile on a daily basis and they're just scattering a bit outside everyone's door. Here you are, have a pile of shit, deal with that today. I genuinely had to go, yeah, you did say that. That's bonkers. I mean, I've written loads of notes about this. I've got my new contact lenses in, by the way. I'm struggling a little bit. So I can see some things. I've had to put my laptop into mega text. I can't really see my phone. I'm still having to do that. But my distance is amazing. And they've told me it'll take a couple of days because they're those funny contacts that work like varifocals but go from the outside in. Anyway, we shall see. I'll let you know. It's getting a bit better. The brain's very clever, isn't it? It adapts to so much so quickly. Well, the brain in general is very clever. Obviously, there are exceptions. So my notes were Reeves and Lammy faces just like feral MPs. Keir Starmer has referred to some of his MPs as feral. I'm like, what took you so long? Really? And there's a few things on X about how we think that this whole race for Prime Minister has been leaked by the Conservative Party and the Greens and Reform. And it's like, really? That's the best you can do. I mean, I think some of the rebel MPs are actually putting their hand up and going, do you know what? It was us, but I don't care. Wes Streeting's tried really hard to refute it, and he's giving it a traitor's headline because he thinks that makes him relatable. The most wrongful attack on a faithful since Joe Marler in The Traitors. And it's like, Wes, shut the front door. You're not relatable by saying that. And also as well, it's that stupid thing where they say the same thing in every single interview. They assume that people that watch Sky don't watch the BBC, that don't listen to the Radio 4, that don't listen to the headlines on Heart FM. That don't, we're all hearing the same line, Wes. Just give us a new one. You just know. So then we talk about unemployment. 180,000 jobs lost. And Kemi says, that's ridiculous. That wouldn't have happened under my government because I wouldn't have made the mistake of putting a jobs tax in. Well, okay, we can all argue successive governments and what they've done in the past, but we're now hearing some really strong rhetoric from Kemi about what she wouldn't do and what she would do. Now, we don't all agree with it for sure, but we're finally seeing a direction in which the Conservative Party is going in, which I think is a step ahead of Reform, if I may, because Reform aren't necessarily giving us the nuts and bolts of what we want to hear, although Reform are arguably significantly more popular. And look as though they have the majority's vote. So, whatever, I'll go with either as long as it gets them out. And we just saw a crumbling government who looked quite shocked, if I'm honest. And I'm like, have you not been reading the papers? I mean, surely you knew this was coming. They looked quite shocked that it was happening. And yet they just carried on with the same old thing that's got them there in the first place, which is the crap that they're delivering. And if Keir Starmer is surprised that a lot of his backbenchers saying you're rubbish, we don't want you anymore, your leadership is shit, it's because of things like welfare, 2-child cap, net zero, all the unpopular stuff within the UK that people don't want. I mean, here are a few little things for you. The carbon tax has put bills up by 70%, but MPs can vote to I've got to put my glasses on. MPs can vote to axe the carbon tax and reduce the bills by 20% instantly. They can do that today. Now, will they? Will MPs vote to axe the carbon tax and reduce your bill and my bill by up to 20% straight away? Will they do that? Then we've got schools are being given AI-generated pupil attendance. So we've got a lot of families in the UK that vote for governments or what have you, and they are now being told that their children are going to have their attendance monitored by AI. Brilliant. So are we children? Are we robots? Are we statistics? And we've opened up 36 behaviour and attendance hubs. We're told this by Bridget Phillipson. Okay, so for a start, let's hope that Keir Starmer doesn't need to go to one of these behaviour or attendance hubs. He wouldn't do so well, would he? Now, the public don't want them. The public don't want attendance and behaviour hubs because parents of children who are fighting the absolute shit show of an education system. And if you saw what kids have to face in school, I mean, I know we get a lot of, back in the day, we were sent, flea in our ear, you wouldn't dare not go, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, but back in the day, you weren't facing drugs being sold on your school playground. You weren't facing the threat of knives in your classroom. You weren't facing having to go to classes being taught about transgender and how to pleasure yourself safely. Yeah, you didn't have any of that. Our kids do. Our kids have all of that. It's no fucking wonder they don't want to go to school. I don't want them to go to school. Yet here we are bullying them into going to school to learn how to pleasure themselves safely. You heard it. That's right. Have a look in the Education and Curriculum Bill. If you don't believe me, Google it. It's what's happening. But yet, Bridget Phillipson has announced the next 36 behaviour and attendance hubs, and your child's attendance will be monitored by AI. So Keir Starmer's surprised that the country don't like this. We've got no money, but we've got 2 billion quid to put into national ID, to digital ID. The country unequivocally have said we're not having digital ID, but Keir Starmer's going along with it. So is it any wonder a group of backbenchers have gone, we are like proper unpopular. We are like literally, I mean, who's the most unpopular thing you can think of? I can only think of Keir Starmer. But they are thinking, oh my God, we're so unpopular. We've got to do something. Otherwise, we're out. So it's no surprise there's a leadership contest. I can't think of the words today. Honestly, the eyes play funny things with your brain when you can't see properly. But anyway, you can see why there's a coup. And yeah, everyone's denying it. Wes Streeting's denying it, but everyone else is going, no, it actually happened. And somebody made a very good point on X that when Kemi Badenoch was hauling him over the coals, perhaps somebody could have filmed the reaction of a lot of the Labour MPs, because you'd have definitely seen who was a traitor and who was a faithful in there. Thanks, Wes. You give me the lines, I'll dish them out. So that's what I think of Prime Minister's questions today. I thought it was liberating, finally, a bit of quality, decent politicking. Because for the first time in 2 years, nearly 2 years, did the opposition, she's hauled him over the coals before, but this time was the first time she did it with absolute assurity, confidence in her own plans of what she'd do instead of going, oh, it was all their fault and it's all your fault and it's the cat's fault and it's the dog's fault and it's the milkman's fault. She said, and she knows that she's got some unpopular policies. She absolutely knows that. But with confidence, she delivered the alternative to his cluster of the proverbial. And at last, we are getting a sense of what the opposition is, and we've got a clearer sense of what the actual government in power is than we've ever had. They are weak. They are a mess. They are imploding. They are deeply unpopular by pretty much the vast majority. I mean, I think if there was a snap election tomorrow, it would be Reform, Greens, Tory, Greens, don't know which way round that would go. But Labour would be literally gasping for air at the bottom. And I'm sad it's come to this, because you and I are going to suffer from this, because you and I know that a change at the top is going to unsettle markets. And we do know that we don't want to have to go through another bloody general election where we lose, if nothing else, the TV schedule to boring people wanging on about why they can't do it and they can't do it and it was their fault and it was the cat's fault. But at least finally the message is home now that if you raise tax, it's not what we voted for. If you cut the two-child cap, we can't afford to do it. And if you absolutely insist on gaslighting us as a nation, we will, in some way, shape or form, get you out. And for that, Kemi Badenoch, today, you are top of the class. I applaud you. Thank you very much.